Greetings, Dr. Wolfula here to present a very important special audio presentation that your ears cannot dare unlisten to. Does that make sense? Oh, it doesn't matter. Listen to this.
I got the fire flow. Shorty getting down, going up the fire pole. Radical in the mitten where we mad cold. I got the bullfrog flow. You a tadpole. Feel the love, feel the rush, feel the buzz, let it brush ya. Bald eagle clutch on the mic. What's up? Whistle turn me.
Welcome to someone's favorite movie. I'm coming to you from the Pod Check outside beautiful Bay City, Michigan. My name is Randy, and with me is the former Zero who became a hero. His name is Tomco. What's going on, Mr. Tomco, sir?
Oh, just sitting here in my day glow jump pants and the metallic Swiss cheese hat, circular glasses, and just living it up like it's 1991.
I just want to know, does your jacket have awesome phrases like sex on the sleeves? Because I can only imagine how crazy that drives Mrs. Tomco.
It says sex me up, sir.
Ooh, does it say sex me up, sir? Or just sex me up?
It does, because I'm nothing if not polite.
You gotta be a sir at all times when you're trying to sex a person up. So it's very polite of you. Yeah, I mean, what a gentleman you are.
I try.
Thank you. I'm going to be a gentleman now and introduce our special guest this week. He is the better half of Jake and Tom Conquer the World, from whence you both came. It is Jake. What's up, sir? How are you?
Hey, thanks for finally having me on this show. I've been wanting to come on for, God, what, 5-6 years? How long have you been doing this show?
15 years. Yeah, 15 years.
Yeah, I've been wanting to come on for quite some time. And Tom always teased it. He's always like, hey, yeah, we should come on and do a show. And he always mentions, hey, why don't we do this or do that? And I'm like, oh, yeah, totally in. And then I never get an invite. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Well, I'll put that squarely on Tomco's shoulders. He's a selfish lover. He doesn't want to share me with anyone. So
no. Before we get started, I'm not sure if I owe you gentlemen both an apology or if I'm waiting to be thanked.
Oh, do tell.
Continue
on. About 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, we welcomed a new puppy into the co-household.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, being the proud parent of a new dog, I had to share pictures with everybody that I know, including, as Jake says, people that I don't know. And I sent you guys both a picture of the lovely new Penny.
Adorable that she is.
Yes. She is a brindle bulldog puppy with beautiful eyes, and I don't care what you say, she is the bestest puppy in the world. And next thing I know, both of you guys are also bringing in new puppies to the house.
Oh, I didn't know Randy also. Yeah. Well, my wife and I, we had been kicking around for a couple of days, actually, before you showed up. I was on a puppy site that I go on to from time to time and saw someone had a 16-week-old, which is about twice as old as what they normally are, to be sold at a Old English sheepdog that she was selling for about 20% of what the price normally is.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned to my wife, kind of like half-heartedly, like, hey, look, we could always add a third one because, 2 dogs ain't enough. You got to have a third one, right? And my wife, who I thought would immediately shoot the idea down, was like, I have the money. We could go today. And then so we kicked it back and forth, like, do we, don't we, do we, don't we? I kind of do, kind of don't. And then this son of a bitch shows up at my house with like pictures of a brand new puppy. And then next thing you know, the day after you left, we went on a road trip and we welcomed our little darling, little Pepper, an old English sheepdog puppy.
Well, on my end, I'm about to get real cross with this Tomko here because so Pookie, my girlfriend, whom I adore, has never, and I repeat, ever appreciated the company of canines. Wasn't a big dog fan, you know. All of a sudden, Tomko's flaunting around pictures, proud puppy Papa, flaunting around
in all
these
fairness,
pictures.
I am not the one that showed Pookie the pictures.
I suppose that's true. Okay, yeah, you're passing the blame, huh? Great.
I am.
It's classic Tomko.
Yeah, really. I mean, I need you to own up to your mistakes, okay? So here's the deal. All of a sudden, she gets puppy fever, and she's looking at all these puppy sites, and there's this puppy event. Down the road, they're showing these puppies. They're all up for adoption. Next thing I know, she's taking the kids. She's there. They're filling out paperwork to adopt a puppy named Rose. Yeah, that's right. They were all named after Golden Girls.
Now, did she even bother to contact you? Because I'm just picturing you staring at everything in the background in disbelief, wondering what the hell was going on and how it happened to you.
She did text me and said, I'm filling out a form. I'm like, okay, I guess this is happening.
And what is your darling little puppy?
Oh, well, it was going to be a husky, but here's the problem. So you have to fill out applications. Like it's like adopting a small furry child.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
been there, done that, yeah.
They don't just toss puppies around willy-nilly like you think they would. But no, you got to fill out the paperwork and you got to be vetted. And we did not pass the test. So Tomko is indirectly responsible for all the heartache and tears in this house.
Oh, no.
Thank you so much, you son of a bitch.
Oh, and I'm just imagining the look of disappointment on Pookie's children's faces.
Yeah, everyone's disappointed. Everyone's disappointed.
Oh, man.
All because you had to have a goddamned puppy.
So what was the end result then? So what happened in the end?
Well,
how's the story end?
It's very sad. We're all heartbroken still. We don't get that.
You have
puppy.
a rose-shaped heart in your hole in your heart now, is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, we didn't even get a Blanche, for crying out loud.
Oh, Jesus!
I know. You'd think we'd at least.
What about the geriatric Sophia? Did you get to take her home?
I didn't get no Sophia either. You know,
Jeez.
I'd get an Estelle Getty puppy if it was offered to me, but oh hell no. So the puppy hunt continues. She does not waver from this puppy hunt. So
I will keep a lookout in the circles that I travel, and if I see a puppy available, I might let you know.
Okay, as long as there's minimal paperwork, because apparently we're real bad at it.
Nah, there's a way to bypass that. I know a guy.
Oh yeah, he knows a
man.
guy.
You got some black market puppies? Cool.
Yeah, well, I don't want to say on something that could be, listened to by the public, but I know a guy knows a guy. Let's put it that way.
I'll rest assured this podcast is barely listened to by the public, so you're good.
So you mentioned your wife getting a puppy without directly telling you at first. A little brief story of how we got one of our previous dogs years ago. This dog has passed on quite some time ago. This was maybe, I think this was about 16, 17 years ago.
Okay.
I was working at a grocery store at the time, a grocery store that was within walking distance of my house. And I went to work one day, and I think I was actually coming back from lunch. Anyway, so I walk in there, and there's a couple little kids, and they got the little wash tub sitting there full of puppies, and these little fur balls, really adorable little long-haired. I think I'm trying to think exactly what they were. They were a husky mix as well. So they had these little puppies. They got 7 or 8 puppies in there, and I pick one up, and I immediately fall in love. Like, oh God, you know what? I want this puppy, but I'm coming back to work, but I'm only gonna work for a couple hours. And so I said, kids, how long are you going to be here? Like, well, we're going to be here till these dogs are gone. We've been here for a couple hours, only got rid of 3 or 4. So we're going to be here for a while. Cool. If you're still here in 2 hours, I'm taking these puppies home. And I go back to work. And I'm there a little bit. And then my wife, who she did not tell me she was doing this, decided to come to the grocery store to get something for dinner that night. Well, she, of course, ran to these puppies. Now, by the way, I did not tell my wife I was bringing home a puppy. This is going to be a little surprise. One of those ask forgiveness later for then permission things.
Sure.
Plus, we already had a dog at the house. It's not like it was like, oh God, now we got a dog proof the house. We already had a dog. And so I'm working, and I'm working back in the deli area, and I'm slicing some meat or whatever, and I glance up, and I'm like a half hour, 45 minutes away from being done for the day. Like, all right, gonna go get that puppy. Kids are still out there. I just double checked. Gonna get a puppy. Gonna come home. Gotta go buy a puppy chow. Gotta go blah blah. I'm going through my head all the things I gotta do, and I catch the corner of my eye. I see my wife, and she's in the grocery store, and she quickly realizes that I see her, and she darts down an aisle. I'm like, huh, that's odd. I didn't know she was coming to the store. I continue working, and then it clicks in my head what is going on. She passed those little kids too, and she got a puppy, as I guarantee you. So I go to the store, track down my wife. Sure enough, she's got a little blanket wrapped around this little fuzzy ball of hair, and she's like, "Don't be mad." And then I fake mad with her for a while. I'm like, I can't believe you didn't even ask me first. You just picked up a random puppy and is going to bring home. We didn't talk about it first. You just did it. And I gave her the guilt trip. I eventually told her about 7-8 years later that I was going to get a dog too. But for the brief period, had she not been spotted by me, had I not just glanced up at what would have ended up happening, what very close came to happening is I come home about 45 minutes later. Hey, honey, look what I got from work. And then she'd be like, oh, hey, look what I also got. We would have had 2 of these little bastard dogs that I grew to hate the dog. But anyway, the point is we came really close. We came really close to having 2 of these dogs at the same time because lack of communication.
Now, which dog was this?
This was Nodwick. He was a terrier husky mix. He had like the spotted tongue and really furry.
I remember that dog, yeah.
Yep, really furry dog. His hair would get really like black when it got long, but when you cut it short, it was like a gray body. Yep.
So what you're saying is you'd have picked out a better dog.
Exactly. The one I would have picked out would have actually been smart and not. I still is convinced to this day that dog was slightly mentally handicapped. We loved him anyways, but the dog was dumb. Dumbest dog I've had in my whole life.
You hear that, Mrs. Jake? Brush up on your puppy picking skills. That's what I'm hearing.
But the new dog, Pepper, now she's smart.
And did you pick her out?
Yes.
See? Point proven.
Because I have better skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, from talking to dogs to talking about another dog, a DAWG, today we're covering Cool as Ice. Cool as Ice. How excited were you two to watch Vanilla Ice in his acting, starring debut?
Well, I had to explain to Jake that, yes, Vanilla Ice was in a movie before he sat down and watched it.
Yeah, I don't know how I somehow missed this. I mean, I was a kid in 91. Oh boy, let's see. I would have been 8th grade ish. Tom, you and I graduated the same year. What were we
right around there? I want to say, yeah.
Yeah, we graduated in 96. I'm thinking like 7th, 8th grade or so. Whenever this came out, I'm guessing this was a summer blockbuster release. I'm guessing.
No, I seem to remember it being released in the fall because I distinctly remember watching a commercial for this movie on MTV on a Saturday afternoon when I didn't have to go to school.
Yeah, and right before we started recording, I decided to brush up on this again because we watched it a few days ago, and I decided to watch the trailer as well. And I can't believe I somehow did not see this movie in the theater. I mean, I can't believe I didn't rush to see this thing because back in the day, I was what you call a minor Vanilla Ice fan.
Were you really? Did you indeed worship? So I'm a bit younger. I was in 4th grade during the wave of Vanilla Ice. And even in 4th grade, me and all my friends thought he was kind of corny. We gravitated more towards MC Hammer.
I was going to say MC Hammer and him both came on the scene at the same time.
Yeah.
And MC Hammer definitely hit it a little bigger. His star didn't fade for a little bit longer after Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice, unfortunately, was a bit of a flash in the pan at the time.
Absolutely. And why not capitalize on a flash when the star is on the rise there? Like, yeah. That was the whole reason for this. Cool as Ice is a remake of 1953's The Wild One. That movie starred a young Marlon Brando. This one stars a young Vanilla Ice. That doesn't seem like a fair trade, does it?
No,
Now, see,
I just don't
Tom, the first thing he pointed out to me is was it Doc Hollywood? Was that your comparison?
it reminded me of Doc Hollywood, but it also I had to, full confession, I had to go back and rewatch this movie because it put my ass to sleep not once.
Yeah.
But
In
twice.
all fairness, to tell the whole story, Tom came up to my house for the weekend. He actually got a chance to. We don't get a chance. Tom and I don't physically see each other and hang out very often. We're lucky if we get a couple days a year where we get to hang out. And he came up for a couple days, and he's like, "Yep, we're gonna do this." And because he even gave me the heads up, like, "Hey, and you do me a favor, Jake. We're gonna watch this movie." I'm like, "All right, I'm in." And so afternoon came. Tom and we snuck away from the family a little bit and got a couple of brews and came back to my place and. Went in the basement and decided to do our work and watch this thing after having a couple of drinks. And Tom is a very predictable guy. Couple drinks in, and I start watching this, and I'm in it. Okay, whether I love or hate a movie, if I'm watching it, I'm watching it. And
it had his attention.
It had my attention, and then I'm hearing this sound from the couch next to me. I'm like, is the dog growling or something? What is this? And I kind of, and we're in the dark basement too, because we got watching on the big 55-inch screen TV.
When I get comfortable, and
he gets comfortable, and
I got sleep.
2 couches on my basement, so we both had our own couch and all spread out. And after a couple of brews, Tom was out. What point did you fall asleep?
No alcohol was required for that. It didn't hurt.
I think it helped because we had more than a couple.
We had 2. We each had 2.
I vaguely remember having a third, but
no.
You sure?
I am positive.
Well, they were pretty strong. Anyways.
You're lightweight, Tomko. I'm calling you out right now.
No, I had to go back and rewatch this, and I did the smart thing, and I rewatched it this afternoon, and what I noticed was it also reminded me of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Oh. Have you guys reviewed that movie on your show?
No, but I was thinking about doing it.
If the day comes where you're like, you know what, I think we're going to do Elvira. I don't want to impose. I don't want to I don't want to be the guy who invites himself to a party. But if you're looking for a third member of the group, I just want to throw my hat in the ring. I would love an excuse to go back and rewatch Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
I've actually watched it in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I have.
I have not. I have not seen it. I have not seen it since I was a young man. Probably within the year or two after it came out. I remember watching it, but I remember watching it a handful of times. I remember rewatching it when it came out.
How did it remind you of Elvira?
All right, you have
Rob Van Winkle's ample cleavage. Was that it?
No, but again, it didn't hurt.
Okay.
Both movies feature entertainers who are on the road. Their vehicles break down in a very, very conservative, button-up small town.
Sure.
And while they're waiting for their cars to get repaired, they're making waves with the local yokels. And of course, they find a love interest that sees through all that bullshit and finds out what a good person they are underneath it all.
So you're saying Elvira is a remake of The Wild One? That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it is.
Okay, well done.
With ample cleavage.
Analysis,
as only someone's favorite movie can provide.
Also, to clarify my previous statement, release date was October 18th, 1991, so it was the fall.
Oh, I was right.
It was October 18th, and it was a spectacular flop.
Oh, yeah, I scrolling down, seeing what the budget and the gross was. Yeah, yeah.
The number one movie that week was Other People's Money, starring Danny DeVito and Gregory Peck, which I've never heard of.
Also, shit, I saw that at the theater.
I remember. I think I saw that movie too. I don't think I saw it in the theater, but I remember seeing it.
Also ahead of Cool as Ice that week was Ernest Scared Stupid at number 5.
Oh, Ernest.
Little Man Tate, Necessary Roughness, and even Suburban fucking Commando. Cool as Ice came in at number 9, just making over $638,000. Think about that. I've
seen all of those movies.
You've got this superstar in Vanilla Ice whose song is on the radio every time you turn it on. He's dating Madonna, And his starring role does worse than fucking Ernest fighting demons and Hulk Hogan playing an alien in the suburbs. Wow.
In all fairness, it had been, I just want to say, about a year prior to that when he kind of launched on a national level, and his star fell real quick.
Yeah, I think his star was probably already fallen when this movie came out. They probably were filming it when it was at the height.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And by the time it hit its, by the time it was out in the theaters, I think it was too late. I don't think they didn't capitalize fast enough.
Exactly. And that's the problem with the movie making process back then. It was a lot slower than it is these days.
I don't think it's fast enough today to keep up with the career of the Vanilla Ice, though.
Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, after Ice Ice Baby, it was a sharp decline.
Yeah, and Ice Ice Baby was what kind of launched and killed him. Because if you remember right, he got busted for sampling Queen and David Bowie song, and he kept saying that no, it was something that I wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that pretty much killed his career.
And the other thing is, like, Ice Ice Baby started off as a B-side to his first single, which was Play This Funky Music, White Boy, which, come on. And the chorus of Ice Ice Baby is borrowed from the signature chant of a national African-American fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha, who after every verse, they say ice, ice. So he took that too.
And he covered badly a Sly Stone song in this movie. Yes. Basically, we're saying that you're not very original, Rob.
I'm just currently looking up when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze came out, because he also was in that movie.
Oh, yes.
And he wrote the theme song to that song, Ninja. Was it
Ninja Rap?
Turtle Power.
Ninja Rap.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go Ninja,
Okay,
go
that
Ninja.
came also in 1991. Let's see, and I think was released in the December. No, I'm trying to find that. Come on, Wikipedia, you can work a little faster than this.
Well, while Jake's looking that up, what was your first impressions of this movie, Randy?
So, the first time I watched this movie was actually about 10 years ago, and I was recently unemployed from a job that I had held for 13 years. So I was kind of just, I don't know, drifting through life trying to find a purpose, you would say. And so I started going on Twitter a lot more, and I fell into a community that was live tweeting movies that they would watch. Somebody would pick a movie. Usually it would be a bad B movie. And then everyone would use the same hashtag and tweet along their thoughts with this whole community. So you could just click on the hashtag and see what everyone was saying and join the conversation. I think people still do that today. It's a fun thing to do. And back then when I had nothing else to do, it was the best. So one time, Cool as Ice was that movie, and I was instantly fascinated with this, like, on so many levels. So I started dating Pookie, and I made her watch it, and she was equally as fascinated by it.
Now that is a hell of a relationship test, sir.
Oh yeah, we watch all sorts of weird shit. So it's become kind of a cult classic, along with Tammy and the T-Rex in the house here. We adore those movies. So,
though in all fairness, your co-host Tommy does do a hell of a job with Turtle Power at karaoke night.
Sure. So, yeah, I mean, I was instantly fascinated by it on so many levels. Like, you watch this movie, it is so colorful and so well shot.
You know what? I have to give them credit. It does look nice.
It looks amazing.
One shot in particular that I was really impressed with was once they were stranded in the town, the lunch scene. Mm-hmm. Where you have the one guy who's making like the most disgusting sandwich in the world. What was it? Peanut butter, pickles, sardines, mustard and pineapple.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have this other young lady who is looking at these bluish greenish eggs and kind of poking at them. And she reaches for the salt shaker that's in the foreground. And you think it just looks big because of the camera angle. No, it turns out that it's actually a huge salt shaker. I thought that was pretty clever.
That entire house that they stay in is...
The set design was awesome for that place.
Yeah, it's just this surreal, weird, interesting nightmare. And the reason it looks so good, I don't know if you know this or not, the cinematographer, Janusz Kaminski, went on to win Academy Awards just mere years later for Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan.
Oh my God.
He also worked on Jerry Maguire.
What a step up.
He also worked on Jerry Maguire, The Lost World, AI, Minority Report, Catch Me If You Can, World of Worlds, The BFG, Ready Player One, and countless others. And it all started with Cool as Ice.
That is eclectic as fuck.
Yeah. But this movie is so well shot. That's one of the reasons I find it I also find it interesting. The soundtrack is very intriguing to me. The early 90s hip hop in it is not necessarily my bag, but something about it keeps my attention.
When it came out, I did enjoy early 90s hip hop. You know, you got MC Hammer, Digital Underground, PM Dawn, things like that. And I had just moved to an area where we had cable for the first time. And so I was exposed to MTV for the first time in my life. And I just soaked all of that shit in when I was a kid. And then Vanilla Ice came out and kind of shot me back down to earth.
Jake, what was your initial thoughts when you watched this movie for the first time?
So my first thoughts were, so Tom and I have been friends for 30 years now.
Yeah.
And he messaged me, hey, I need you to do me a favor. You know, can you please watch this movie with me? I'm like, 100%, I'm on board. And at one point in my life, I said to Tom, whatever you need, you know, if you ever need something, I'm here for you. I always thought that would be something as simple like a kidney or, you know, burying a body, that kind of thing. I didn't know when I was signing up when I watched this. This was a rough watch. I did actually enjoy parts of it though. Like I agreed. It was shot really well. It was definitely a interesting what's the term, a little time capsule of the era.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh yeah, that's right. That's the way people dressed when they thought they were looking cool back then. That was a real thing. Like, I mean, there were people when I was a freshman in high school, the seniors looked kind of like that. Like that's what people looked like. And it brought me back. It really, really hit the nostalgia factor for that. And just like the feeling like this is so early 90s. I mean, it hit me in the feels there. But those were my first thoughts when I started watching this, as I listened to Tom snore and watched the whole thing. Covered him up in a little blankie because he was sleepy and getting cold.
You did.
That's a true friend. Get you a friend that'll tuck you in when you pass the fuck out.
And the thing is, I warned him the night before. Because we were watching another movie. I'm like, Jake, if you put that light out, I'm going to just conk out 5 minutes into the movie. Next day, sure enough, I did that exact same thing.
True story. That's what happened.
Man.
Yeah.
Other than visual melatonin, Tomko, how did this movie strike you?
Really, really stupid.
Yeah.
Like unapologetically so. It was shot very well, but it was done in the style of an early 90s music video, which isn't meant to convey a story. It's just all visual.
There are at least what 4 moments in the movie where it kind of just breaks into like a video, like, you know, it feels like definitely, there was definitely a lot of that. And I wasn't quite sure when this movie's supposed to take place, because like the town they're in, which actually they mentioned in the trailer. Like I said, I watched the trailer beforehand, and they were like, I guess they did it on purpose, where it felt like the town was in like the 60s or the 70s or something like that. Like the way the music was and the way people dressed and stuff. It really felt like it was like frozen in time when this 90s guy shows up.
Yeah, it's kind of a poor man's Footloose. Here's Vanilla Ice. He's gonna bring dancing to the city. Watch out.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, you were talking about how this movie just kind of breaks out in music video. This isn't the first movie of its type. I mean, you had movies
yeah.
starring the Beatles and Elvis and the Bee Gees and probably Leif Garrick for all I know. So this isn't the first time that this has happened. But the problem is that most of those movies, even some by the Beatles, who I adore as a band, a lot of those movies just flat out suck.
Right. I agree. This is exactly like one of those Elvis movies, except if Elvis was less talented and more insufferable. And
I was going to say,
had those lines
aggressively
shaved into his
unlikable as a
head.
character.
Yeah. I mean, he reminds me in this movie, Vanilla Ice, of a cartoon character. Borderline Pepe Le Pew with his weird rapey tendencies.
Oh God, can we talk about? Okay, I don't know how detailed you want to get in here, but can we talk about how he courts this young lady in this movie from the moment
By
he sees
harassing
her
and assaulting her?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, don't forget the part, and you were asleep when this happened, Tom, but where she wakes up one morning and almost like the horse's head next to her, there's Vanilla Ice, who had to have broken into her house.
Yeah.
And how long was he just sitting there staring at her sleeping?
Yep.
Before she just like came awake, and then there he is, Vanilla Ice, lying next to you in bed. Wasn't there when you went to sleep, but he's there when you wake up.
I just imagine him laying there with his head propped up with his hand and him just looking at her saying, yup, 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 yup.
Well, I mean, not only that, but the very first time these characters meet, he's zooming along on his little yellow banana bike and somehow manages to pull up alongside her while she's riding a horse. He gets ahead of her and somehow makes his bike fly. Didn't jump it because there was no ramp. You need to have a goddamn ramp if you're going to jump a bike over a fence.
So,
lands.
Did he do any of his own stunts, or do you think that was a stunt guy?
It was a stunt guy.
It was a stunt guy.
Yeah.
But no, his first impression on this lady is to knock her off of her horse, knock the horse over, and then introduce himself.
Yeah, pretty good. Nice first impression. Like,
yeah, that's a ladies' man right there.
I mean, if you would have paralyzed that girl, Vanilla Ice, would you visit her in the hospital? I mean,
that would have been a more interesting love story.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because she doesn't need to be asleep. He can just walk in and lie down next to her.
The second time he meets her, he proceeds to insult her boyfriend and steal her personal property.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Hey,
what a ladies' man.
We don't usually do this on this show, but it's a special occasion, and this is a special movie. So here's that scene.
All right, I'll think about it.
Hey, I love you.
Yeah. What the hell is that?
Don't ask me.
So what's up? How you doing?
Fine.
And the horse?
Since when do you care?
Wait a minute, you two know each other.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Well, which is it, Kathy?
Kathy. Mm-hmm. Cat.
Come on, we're wasting his time.
Oh, no, you're not wasting my time. I'm just cooling.
Ben, you're wasting our time.
All right, I get it. Check this, though. If you need me, I'll be right over there.
She won't.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Oh, yeah, Cat. Words of wisdom. Drop that zero and get with the hero.
Excuse me?
See you later, Dick.
And that is acting at its finest right there.
Now, that phrase about ditching the zero and getting with the hero, was that the first time that phrase was used? Is that what? Because I'd heard that phrase many times growing up.
I can't believe that was the first time, but I do believe it was the first time I remember hearing it.
Yeah, I've heard it plenty of times. I would find it very, very hard to believe that it came from this movie.
I hope it didn't. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, I mean, this guy is just I don't even want to say
Scuzzy.
borderline
Very
creepy because
scuzzy.
at one point his friends ask him what he's gonna, do that day, and his words were, and I quote, "I'm gonna go sling that schlong."
Yes, he does. Oh boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
But in the end, he gets the girl. Spoiler on this movie, but apparently she did dish a zero and got with that hero after he fought off a bunch of like crooked cops and beat up a bunch of people, beat up like 4 or 5 guys by himself, showing that I didn't realize how badass Vanilla Ice was in a fight.
Oh, and that amazing fight choreography that, proceeded at the pace of a glacier.
It's just it moves at the pace of a glacier because he's Vanilla Ice. Don't you get it? Don't you
Well, yeah.
Because
understand?
he's cool as ice.
Man.
Well, and that was the other thing. Kathy was pretty damn unlikable herself. First of all, she's a high school senior who looks like she's getting ready to, study for the bar.
Right.
And she is in a committed relationship with this Nick guy. They go out to a club, and she immediately just leaves him and starts dancing with this ruffian to the point where they're basically fucking each other with their eyes on the dance floor. And then she goes back over to her boyfriend like nothing's going on.
Because she just had to show him that she could, Tom.
That's
Well,
right.
yeah, but that's still not exactly a cool thing to do, I'd imagine.
Kathy in this movie was played by Kristen Minter, whose previous credit was in Home Alone as one of Kevin McAllister's siblings. So that's that. But it was almost somebody else. In an LA Times interview in 1998, one Gwyneth Paltrow was asked the question, "You almost made your screen debut in another musical. Weren't you offered the part of Vanilla Ice's girlfriend in Cool as Ice?" Gwyneth Paltrow says, "God, can you believe that? Thank you for calling that back to my attention. I just started acting. I auditioned for Cool as Ice, and they offered me the movie. They said it's an $80,000 offer, and I was hostessing at the Santa Monica Airport restaurant. I was like, I can't believe it, but my God, it's Vanilla Ice. So I went straight to my father. He read 5 pages of the script and said, you really could potentially hurt yourself by doing this film." And so she didn't do it.
You know what, Gwyneth Paltrow, you don't get to lay judgment on Vanilla Ice. You and your vagina-scented candles, no.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
No.
But can we talk about how smart Gwyneth Paltrow's dad was in saving her career?
Yes,
he knows.
I will give Mr. Paltrow.
Good call, Mr. Paltrow.
Yeah. Her dad was Bruce Paltrow, right?
Sure.
I never met him.
Yeah. I immediately like him though.
Yeah, I mean he's a good judge of character.
Hmm.
He was a TV and film director and producer. He was in the biz, so he knew things.
Well, that was fair.
Yeah.
I thought he was some rando guy who read it and even then knew that it was all.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
No, he was in the business, but still he knew. Somehow he knew.
Yeah, and you have this weird subplot with the dad from Family Ties.
Yeah.
Who apparently is on the run from corrupt cops because he was one himself once upon a time.
That's what was implied. Now, was it he like a witness relocation thing too? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know a whole lot about witness relocation, but I'm pretty sure like usually there's a contact person you could talk to, like, oh hey, someone spotted me from my old life, and they would come in and kind of help out.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself, but also I'm pretty sure that one of the things about the witness relocation program is that you don't, go showboating around, let alone going on the fucking news where anybody can see you.
Well, it was local news. They were on. They probably thought, oh, no, this is just a local channel. No one's going to see this.
Yeah.
But no, that was still a bonehead move.
I find it weird that they chose to put him in a small town, like right down the street from a humongous Technicolor dream house with humongous words on the side of it. And Like that
which
wouldn't
is
call
apparently
attention.
also within driving distance of a barren desert.
I mean, we don't know what state this is in.
Hmm.
Probably New Jersey.
Yeah,
Here we have it all.
it does have that chemical plant feel to it.
Sure does.
Oh,
The thing that
no offense to any of our Jersey listeners out
Yeah.
there, but there's a stereotype about you guys.
the thing that cracks me up about Vanilla Ice's performances.
Oh,
It's-
that is very charitable of you for calling it a performance.
Well, I was about to say it's not a performance. That's just how he was. I uncovered this clip on YouTube where he was talking about his pants. Jake, have you ever got your pants graffitied?
No.
Vanilla Ice did. I mean, he saw a guy and hired that guy to paint all his pants, for crying out loud. And then hired him to design all of his
I
wardrobe for this
apparently
movie.
need a graffiti pants guy now.
Yeah, listen to this.
That was my homeboy. I met him in New York, downtown Manhattan. Where else? And I needed some stuff to paint it, and I saw some stuff that he had done that was in a window, and it was slamming, man. I was walking by, I said, check that stuff out, it's dope. Walked in, and there he was, painting away. I said, say, man. He said, say, man. It's kind of one of them deals, you know? What's up, what's up? That was my
Say, man. And he was like, say, man.
You know what? It's still more likable than the character he portrayed in this movie.
Say, man. What's
At
up,
least
what's
at least he's flat out admitting that he's an idiot.
up? I want to walk up to people now and say, man.
What's up? What's up?
What's up? What's up?
That, and I mean, I don't know what else to really say about a movie like this. There are lapses of logic abound. The one that I liked was when the two corrupt cops, who are probably the least intimidating villains I've ever seen in a movie, they kidnap Kat's little brother, and they're somewhere at a construction site where they're looking down on Vanilla Ice and his crew. And you can tell that they're looking down because of the angle of the camera shot and the distance of the camera shot.
Mm-hmm.
Vanilla Ice and his cohorts speed off and then somehow fly through the walls of the house that the cops are in.
He's got a flying motorcycle, Tom. It was already
That's the only
established
thing
in
that
the
could
early
make
part of the
sense.
movie.
Yeah, it was already established he can fly that motorcycle. So
It's already part of canon.
And
in this
luckily,
world.
he won that game of drywall roulette.
Yeah, whoever built that place did a very poor job with the studs.
I don't think it's up to. I don't think it's up to code.
No, it's not.
y'all, I don't
Gotta
have to
be
worry
one
about
foot
no.
apart.
Y'all, I don't have to worry about no studs. I am the stud. Yup, yup. Apparently, all it takes to fall in love is to frolic around in a construction site in the skeleton of a house that's being built. What a great day that is. What a stellar date.
Yeah. The one compliment I will give between the two actors in the lead roles, because they have no chemistry at all.
No.
I did think it was kind of cute, for lack of a better phrase, when they were trying to get to know each other and they're stepping on each other's words. That was maybe the only relatable part of this movie, because I think we've all been in that situation.
Yeah.
I thought she was a victim of Stockholm syndrome. Like he was somehow like almost stalking her and just kind of almost like a kidnap victim.
Oh, he absolutely was. Yeah, I mean, make no mistake, she was absolutely being stalked.
I do see glimmers of the charisma that made Vanilla Ice a star in this movie, though. No matter how awful his line deliveries are, he is interesting to watch.
Did either one of you guys, I know Tom, not a big fan of like reality shows. but he was on one. It was like VH1. Oh,
Yeah,
the Surreal Life.
Yeah, I
The
watched
Surreal
him
Life.
on that. Yeah.
I of course watched it because that same season was on. It had Ron Jeremy was with them in the house, in the
Yes.
same house.
Yeah.
Like, oh, is that I'll watch anything with Ron Jeremy in it, apparently. So I watched I think most of that series. Really enjoyed it, and actually got to appreciate Vanilla Ice in this. Like, okay, I don't know how well, because obviously reality shows, you're still playing a character. It's not, we all know how reality shows really are. But he was actually one of the more enjoyable people on that show that I actually really got enjoy. At one point, they even go play karaoke, and
Yeah.
I forget the women that were on that show. I think it was like what was the skater that had her boyfriend?
Tanya Harding?
Tanya Harding. I want to say it was Tanya Harding.
There was I think there was
Going
like
from memory here.
Yeah, I think there was a Playboy Playmate too, or something like that.
At one point,
Wasn't
they're
China
singing.
on that show?
I think she was in a later season.
Okay.
I don't know. I only watched the one. They had like it was one of those rando days where Jake had a day off and flipped the channels. Is that Ron Jeremy? Oh, I'm gonna watch this. Oh, it's a marathon. Okay,
Yeah.
I guess I'm watching this whole thing.
Oh no, Ron Jeremy has his clothes on. Never mind.
Oh, don't worry. Yeah, he does get naked a couple times in the show.
course.
But anyways,
Oh, of course.
yeah. So I remember watching that, and like at one point they're singing karaoke, and the ladies are singing "Ice Ice Baby," and he, of course, the guy from Chips hands him the microphone, and he actually goes up and starts taking over and singing the song. It's a real uplifting moment of the show.
Yeah, because the character arc was he kind of resented that song.
Yeah, that was the thing too. Like, yeah, he starts off like he hates what he was. Like his whole character in that show is like trying to change his image, not be that Vanilla Ice anymore.
And by all intents and purposes, he did exactly that. He took all of his Ice Ice Baby money, invested it in real estate, flipped that, and made millions of dollars, capitalized on that, and started another reality show called the Vanilla Ice Project on the DIY network, which has had 9 seasons at this point.
Yeah.
What?
Which is about
I never even
Vanilla
heard of it
Ice,
until now.
which is about Vanilla Ice improving homes. He's like a Bob Vila and shit.
Yeah, I heard about that, but I didn't realize that he had any of his Ice Ice Baby money left. I thought that he lost all of that when Suge Knight basically dangled him off of a hotel balcony by his ankles.
Which is a great story. No, Suge was gracious enough to have him only sign over like percentage points of the royalties.
Oh, that's awful big of him.
Yeah, but the song was such a huge hit that percentage was enough for Suge Knight to form Death Row Records. So
Yeah.
that shows you how much cash Vanilla Ice was making off that song.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't mean to understate just how big he was for about 2 weeks.
He dated Madonna for crying out loud.
Exactly. Not just anybody can do it. Well, at that time, anybody probably could do that, but still, I'm trying to give him credit.
He also broke up with her because she was coming out with that book called Sex, and he didn't.
Oh God,
approve.
wasn't he in that book?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he was in that book. But he somehow had a crisis of conscience about it, and that's rumored why they broke up.
Aw.
Yeah, poor Ice.
I hope that poor kid found love somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't care one way or the other. I'm not wishing Will on him, but I'm not, rooting for him either.
Of course, classic Tom.
I'm totally neutral on him.
Now, every now and again, Tomko, you surprise me with your opinions. And I was thinking, I always try to guess whether or not you'll like a movie. And I thought that you might find something to like about this, but you did not. I thought you would hate Hard Ticket to Hawaii, which you did not. You liked it.
So that was our palate cleanser. So
Yes.
we watched this, and when we were done, Tom was like, you have to watch this other thing. And we did. And I know you've already reviewed it. I don't want to tread on your, past
No.
information.
I was going
but,
to I knew you watched it. I wanted to ask what you thought.
I loved the shit out of that movie. It was ridiculous, but in all the right ways.
Yes.
And it's just, I mean, there's moments where, we use the phrase laugh out loud. I busted up laughing when the skateboard guy like gets flying up in the air and shot with like a rocket launcher and blows up. Like, oh my God. Like that point there, like, okay, I am 100%. I want to watch this entire series. I
I
want
do
to see
too.
every movie made by these people. That was amazing.
And I think that's a part where this movie fails. Like, it was trying to be a huge mainstream success, but it would have been better if it didn't try so hard, I think. Because
Really,
it,
I didn't.
Well,
I didn't
they
get the
didn't-
impression that they tried hard at all.
I got that. I same as Tom. I got a feeling like they were like. I got a feeling like everyone who was making this movie was like, it's just a paycheck. Let's just get it in, get it
Let's
done.
just cash in on this ice pad while we can.
I think everything was one take. I got a feeling
Yes.
everything with, especially with him, was probably like, all right, good enough, and then sent it to print.
well, they did kind of rush it into production because they, whatever studio, I think Universal was behind this, they found out that Boys in the Hood starring Ice Cube was a thing that was happening. So they were like, hey, let's get Vanilla Ice and do the same thing. I don't know if you've ever seen Boys in the Hood or not, but boy, that's a
It's
completely
not a
different.
1-to-1 ratio.
It is not.
No.
It's a completely different experience.
Oh wow!
I remember liking Boys in the Hood.
Oh,
I
it's a
remember,
great
It's
movie.
amazing.
I don't
yeah.
remember anything about it, but I remember watching it and liking it, and then forgetting everything about it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Mhm.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember the same, thinking, "Wow, that was really good." I don't remember much of it. I think Cuba Gooding dies in it or something, and it's sad.
No, Cuba's brother dies. Ricky.
Oh, okay. Look at Tomko. He's
Tom's like, I watch it every year.
he's a Boys in the
It's a
Hood
good
historian.
movie.
It is a good movie. I agree with that. Yeah,
You
but
know, you got Ice Cube playing Doughboy.
yeah. Maybe you're
I
right
think
because
I watched it with Tom.
maybe you're right. Maybe the studio didn't think it was going to be a mainstream success. Maybe they thought they were just going to sell it on the back of Vanilla Ice because
And you know what? I guarantee you, even though it was a huge flop at the box office, I guarantee you it turned a profit between the soundtrack, between home video, cable and television distribution rights, international markets. I guarantee you it made enough of a profit to make it worthwhile for Universal.
I mean, it's still making a little bit of profit. It's streaming on Tubi.
Yep.
Kino Lorber put out a Blu-ray of it last year, which I own. Yes, I do.
Please tell me it has a Vanilla Ice commentary track.
No, it has Michael Gross interview on it though, so that's a thing.
Oh.
Yeah,
Did you buy it directly from Vanilla Ice? Was he on the street peddling this thing?
right from the trunk of his car. He's like, "What's up? What's up? You want to hear some of this hot shit?" Like Vanilla, what? You Vanilla
Remember
Ice?
when he was trying to go through his
Vanilla, what are you doing in my
rap
house?
metal phase?
Yeah, he had dreadlocks and he thought he was
Yes,
going to
he
be.
was screaming at the camera.
Yeah.
We get he's all tatted up now too.
I know way too much about Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, I mean,
This
This would
I
be-
think I need to have one of those self-reflective
kids.
moments.
We were kids in the 80s and 90s, Tom. Of course, we know a lot about Vanilla Ice.
Mhm.
you know what would have been comparable? Like if Fred Durst had been in a movie like this in the early 2000s.
Well, now he's doing Dad Rock or whatever it's called.
Yeah, well, yeah, they just came out with a single called Dad Vibes,
Yes.
which is I implore everyone to go listen to it.
I didn't think Fred Durst could get any more punchable, but I was proven wrong.
Well, but at one time he was like the hot thing,
He was.
and I can imagine him. I can't believe he wasn't in a movie similar to this at some point,
It does kind of make sense that he would have been.
right? Cool as Ice won numerous Golden Raspberry Award. Well, it was nominated for numerous Golden Raspberry Awards, including Worst Picture, Director, Screenplay, Worst New Star, Worst Actor, Worst Original Song, and it won for Worst Actor. You're welcome, Vanilla Ice.
Now, do you think he still has it?
I hope so.
I would put that on the prominent display if I got that.
I mean, why would he care? He's still a rich man, And it's whatever. Not everyone gets to be in a movie, and he was the star. So
Exactly. That, and from what I understand, he seems to have a pretty good perspective of his career. You know, he doesn't take it too seriously. He just, accepts it for what it is.
yeah, and
You got to believe he's got a sense of humor about it. I mean, everyone who was like a one-shot wonder, someone who became huge when they were kids or whatever. Because let's face it, I mean, he was basically what 22, 23 when this happened.
yeah.
He's basically a child, really.
Mhm.
And to have that huge fame all of a sudden and then have it kind of fall apart after a certain time, especially when because he's not much older than us, he's got to have a good sense of humor. He's got to have look back at it, have some fun memories, but ultimately, I like to believe he's okay.
Yeah, I mean, he does seem like a decent guy. Just not a musician.
Ooh, shots fired.
You know what? I'll be charitable and say he's a way better rapper than I am.
To be fair, I think you're right. He's been a home improvement specialist for a longer amount of time than he was a rapper at this point. So,
yeah,
and good for him, because not everyone spins their one-hit wonders into a different, completely different, lucrative career like he did, like MC Hammer.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah. I kind of want to watch one of those episodes of that show now.
Oh, it's probably
I'm sure
good
they're on YouTube.
Yeah, it's probably good. I don't know where one streams DIY network shows, but I'm sure they're watchable.
It's Vanilla, you have my curiosity.
He's like, yep, got another one. What's up? What's up?
And he didn't even have to break into your bedroom repeatedly.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? He's staring at me right now.
He's like, hey,
I'm not talking about you, Vanilla.
I hope he's wearing that jacket with all the words on it.
I hope he's wearing the sunglasses with all the words.
Pookie wanted me to be Vanilla Ice for Halloween, and she wanted to get that jacket for me. You can find jackets exactly like that on like eBay and stuff.
Well, speaking of eBay, I was trying to figure out what the fuck it was, saying on the bows of his sunglasses. I couldn't quite make out the words. And I went to Google, typed in Vanilla Ice, coolest ice sunglasses, and I came to an eBay listing for those exact glasses for $1,500.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yes.
And when do they arrive?
Yeah.
Well, just don't tell the wife. This is my Christmas present to myself. She got a dog. I got these.
Yeah. You got a dog. I got Vanilla Ice glasses. Yup.
So is there anything else that we can say about this cinematic masterpiece?
I'm not sure. Jake, what's your final verdict on Cool as Ice?
It was a fun afternoon, my good buddy Tom. And I never.
It was even better when he woke up.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a rough watch, but it was a fun rough watch.
I think I'm in agreement. I don't think I would ever watch this if it didn't involve a podcast, but it led to a great conversation, I think.
Man, why am I the freak that's watched this like 6 times and owns it on Blu-ray? I don't know. I find something just fascinating about it, and I can't put it into words what exactly makes it watchable for me.
Well, I mean, it's one of those situations where you're probably asking yourself how in the hell this got made.
Yeah, there is a lot of that.
It just comes down to a basic cash grab. Once you take that air of mystery away from it, it just kind of feels flat.
Yeah. Did you guys...
Sorry to be crushing your fandom, sir.
Did you guys enjoy the dance performances or the rapping at all in this movie?
Cannot say I did. Not a fan. I gotta admit.
It was one of those, we're not laughing with you, we're laughing at you, Vanilla.
I feel like all those scenes went on way too long.
They did.
I mean, if it was like a minute long, I would have been okay with it, but it was like 3.5 minutes.
That's what the 10-year-old girls were paying their ticket money for.
Yeah.
Were those dance sequences.
Yeah,
You know,
he can dance, but I'm not a fan.
oh yeah, yes, he
I mean,
is
he can
absolutely
bust a
good
move.
dancer.
He can bust a move like nobody's business.
But I mean, I think it's just one of those situations where it comes down to the fact that this is not a movie that was made for me. It was made for prepubescent girls that are wondering why their bikini area is feeling funny when they're watching this dancing little white boy.
I don't think you can say prepubescent and bikini area in the same sentence without getting put on a list, Tomko.
I'm pretty sure I just did.
Great. Wonderful.
Oh, don't worry. Tom's been on that list for a long, long time.
Yes.
Absolutely. Jake, tell the folks where they can find you on the World Wide Web, sir.
You can find us the same place you can find Tom and I both.
On the
We are
list.
on the list. Look at your logo. You can find them online pretty easily on the map right to my house. You can find us on Facebook at our little fun little group that I'll admit Tom and I have been a little lacking on lately, but it's still there. It's Jake and Tom Conquer the Group. And of course, on Twitter, please follow Tom. Don't follow
At
me.
the Drunken Dork.
At the Drunken Dork.
Yes. We are getting ready to do a retool of the show. We were actually plotting and scheming about that just before we started recording this.
Yes, much like a bug that's about to form a cocoon and break from their chrysalis into something brand new. We are in that process right now.
Yes. Just when you think that you've got us beat, we mutate into another variant and come back to kick your ass.
Hell yeah.
Because we are cool as ice.
Yes. Randy, what about you, sir? When you're not talking about Vanilla Ice movies, where can the good folks find you?
You can find me on social media, but I've been like the invisible man there lately. I don't have any time for it, and it feels great. I mean,
It does, doesn't it?
it's not
I
good
went,
when
like, I
it-
went a couple days without logging into or not even checking Facebook, and didn't miss it. Actually, I hate to
No.
say
I
it.
haven't been on Facebook since like mid-June.
yeah.
I do go on. It's kind of my pooping thing. It's my go-to. Like, oh, I'm sitting here anyways. I might as well do something stupid. And, it's the doom scrolling while I'm dukeying, and that's about the only time I go on Facebook.
It's poor practice when you have several podcasts that you should probably promote to not be on
Yeah.
social media, but
Yeah.
everybody needs a break sometimes, and this was my break lately. Facebook, you can search Miserable Retail Slave, join the Facebook group, or listen to me on Miserable Retail Slave, a big dumb comedy show. We're approaching our 300th episode coming up probably at the end of the year. I'm also on this podcast. It's called Someone's Favorite Movie. You know that. You're already listening. And also, That's a Shame, a Seinfeld rewatch podcast. That's coming out very, very soon.
That's funny. Before I came downstairs to start podcasting, my wife was in the middle of watching the very first pilot episode of Seinfeld.
Oh, that's good because the episode coming out next week deals with the very first pilot episode of Seinfeld.
I was actually just reading that there's a bit of a controversy going on with Seinfeld going over to Netflix.
What's the controversy?
They adjusted the aspect ratio to where it's not the squared off 4:3 aspect ratio that it was filmed in. They faked widescreened it to accommodate modern televisions. And so the way they did that was essentially just cutting off the top and bottom of the picture. And so you're actually losing jokes in that process.
Well, that's stupid.
And Seinfeld fans are pissed.
As well they should be.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was a similar brouhaha about The Simpsons on Disney.
Yep, it's the exact same situation.
Apparently, Disney added a setting or something that you can change and reverse it back to the original ratio. Hopefully, they do the same because stop messing with shit, for crying out loud.
I'm actually going back with the wife, and we're rewatching MASH, of all things.
Okay.
And I really wish that Hulu had like an option on the audio like they did on the DVD, where if you wanted to watch it without the laugh track, you could.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah.
That's the main reason to have those DVDs. And I really hate that laugh track when watching the old episodes.
Yeah, we started watching Cheers from the beginning. We're only a couple episodes in. And
That's a good show, but it could definitely do without the laugh track.
Yeah, I can't believe the laugh track was ever a thing, to be honest.
I guess I never really thought about the laugh track. It was always a part of it, so I never really thought about watching it without it.
Now you will, I guarantee you.
Yeah, because
I might.
maybe that's our problem. Maybe this podcast would be a lot funnier if we had a laugh track after every joke.
See,
I forgot I'm supposed to laugh. Yeah.
See? It's
It
hilarious.
reminds you when it's appropriate to laugh.
Yeah, all the folks at home are just laughing at our hilarity. Aren't you smiling a little bit every time you hear
I
that?
actually am.
See? It works.
Aren't you upset that I don't have a soundboard, Jake?
Sometimes I am, and sometimes I'd like to continue a podcast with you. And I know, Tom, the problem with you is when you get power, you overuse it.
I was going to say I would abuse the fuck out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting for the day where I get enough people together. I'll have to invite Randy to your intervention about responding to everything with memes, and it's how he speaks now. It is his
Oh,
language.
man.
It's been for quite some time.
I understood that reference.
Yeah. Jeez. Boy.
All right, gentlemen, I think we need to put this one to bed.
We do.
Now that Jake's hurt my feelings.
Yeah, we don't want a crying Tomko on the... Here,
Oh.
let me lift your spirits, Tomko.
It really does work.
See,
really
It
does.
does.
I need that in my daily life.
Yeah.
Yeah?
All right, folks. Coming up next time, we've got a Tomko request, Flight of the Navigator. For crying out loud.
Good movie.
Good movie. I've got thoughts about that one. We've got a bunch of listener requests to get to. We're going to cover Elvira for the Halloween season with Mr. Jake there. He's verbally committed.
I'll sign the contracts. I'll make sure we'll
All right.
make it official.
Perfect. And also for Halloween this year, we have a very, very special present to you all. Right, Tomko?
Yes, sir.
Are we spilling the beans or are we keeping it close to the vest?
Go ahead and loose.
It's going to be a spoiler moment.
Oh, man. This Halloween, we are covering, because this is what we do. We cover franchises. This year, we're covering the Halloween franchise in its entirety.
In its entirety. Isn't that like 14, 15 movies?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, it's 14 as, with the release of Halloween Kills. So, yes.
I have not seen a Halloween movie since Halloween H2O.
Oh, okay.
Saw that one in the theater, and I actually really, just going out there now, I really enjoyed it because it was a nice definitive end. I'm like, okay, I like this. I like the fact that they gave this franchise a nice send off. They brought back Jamie Lee Curtis. Spoiler: they kill Michael Myers definitively in this
Or
movie.
do
Like,
they?
That's it. That's it. No more. We're done. Break the mold. We're out of here. Drop the mic, and we're done with Halloween movies. And it was great. And then things happen, and I just don't want to think about it.
That I was actually telling my girlfriend about that the other day about Halloween H2O, about how I loved it because they definitively killed it and then they fucked it over right off the bat like 2 years later. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Jamie Lee Curtis.
and it didn't help with Busta Rhymes.
It did not. No. I watched the original Halloween the other night and boy do I have thoughts about that.
Really?
Oh, yes. This was a different experience watching it in my age 39 year than it was when I watched it when I was 20. So
Interesting. I look forward to that, sir.
I look forward to listening to that episode.
perfect. I guess
All
that
right.
does it for us this time. Thank you so much, Jake, for coming on. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Till then,
See ya.
bye-bye.
Later.